Many times in life, we wait. We wait for people to support us, to understand us, to motivate us, to rescue us when things go wrong. We believe that if someone stands beside us, our journey will become easier. When we begin to depend too much on others, something subtle starts happening within us. Our ability to think independently slowly weakens, our courage to take decisions fades, and our confidence begins to rely on external reassurance. At first, it feels harmless. We ask for advice, we seek approval, we wait for encouragement. But over time, this habit turns into a crutch. Instead of trusting our own judgment, we start doubting ourselves. Instead of acting, we wait. Depending on others may give temporary comfort, but it silently steals our inner strength. Inner strength is like a muscle. If you don't use it, it becomes weak. When someone else constantly solves our problems, motivates us, or pushes us forward, we lose the opportunity to grow. Life's challenges are not meant to break us, they are meant to build us. But when we escape these challenges by leaning on others, we miss the lesson hidden inside the struggle. Slowly, fear replaces confidence, hesitation replaces action, and excuses replace effort. Many people say, "I can't do this without support." But the truth is, before support comes, strength must already exist within you. Even when others help, it is your mindset that decides whether you move forward or remain stuck. When dependency becomes a habit, even capable people start feeling helpless. They begin to believe they are not enough on their own. And this belief becomes more dangerous than failure itself. Depending on others also makes us emotionally fragile. When people don't show up, don't understand us, or don't meet our expectations, we feel hurt and disappointed. Not because they did something wrong, but because we gave them control over our emotional stability. The more power we give to others, the less power we retain over ourselves. Inner strength means being steady even when support is absent. Self-growth begins the moment we accept responsibility for our own life. This doesn't mean we stop valuing relationships or guidance, but we stop handing over our self-worth to others. When you stand on your own feet, you may feel uncomfortable at first. Doubt may arise, fear may appear. But with every step taken independently, confidence quietly grows. Strength is not built in comfort. It is built when you face uncertainty without leaning too much on external validation, when you choose action over waiting, and when you realize that the strongest support you will ever have is the one that comes from within you. Self-reliance begins with a simple shift in thinking, realizing that you are capable of handling more than you believe. Many people underestimate themselves because they have never been given the chance to trust their own abilities. When decisions are always made by others, clarity becomes dependent on external voices. But when you start relying on yourself, your thoughts become sharper, your choices become clearer, and your direction in life feels more defined. Confidence is not something you receive from others. It is something that grows when you act despite uncertainty. Clarity comes when you take responsibility for your own actions. When you stop blaming circumstances or people for where you are, your mind becomes lighter. Confusion often arises from avoiding responsibility. Self-reliance forces you to ask honest questions. What do I really want? And what am I willing to do for it? This honesty removes distractions and aligns your actions with your values. The more you rely on your own judgment, the less noise you allow from opinions that don't truly matter. Confidence grows through experience, not reassurance. Every time you solve a problem on your own, make a decision, or face a challenge without depending on someone else to rescue you, a quiet belief strengthens inside you. Even mistakes play an important role. When you depend on others, failure feels frightening because it comes with judgment. But when you rely on yourself, failure becomes feedback. You learn, adjust, and move forward with greater awareness. Self-reliance also builds emotional stability. When your confidence is rooted inside, praise does not inflate you and criticism does not break you. You become balanced because your sense of worth is not constantly changing with people's reaction. This emotional clarity helps you remain calm in difficult situations and focused during uncertainty. Instead of reacting impulsively, you respond thoughtfully. As self-reliance deepens, discipline naturally develops. You no longer wait for motivation or encouragement to take action. You act because you have committed to yourself. This commitment creates consistency, and consistency strengthens confidence. Over time, you begin to trust yourself more, and that trust becomes the foundation of inner peace. When you know that you can depend on yourself, decisions feel lighter, fear loses its grip, and life moves forward with purpose and calm determination. Expect no 3 keynote, no 6 it into 400 words. Don't add ending sentence. Don't add any heading. Expectations quietly shape much of our emotional life. We expect people to behave in certain ways, to understand our feelings, support us when we struggle, and to stand by us during difficult times. These expectations are often unspoken, yet we hold on to them deeply. The moment reality does not match what we imagined, disappointment arises. It is not the situation that hurts us, but the gap between expectation and reality. This gap becomes the source of frustration, sadness, and resentment. When we depend on others, expectations naturally increase. We begin to believe that people should act according to our needs and timelines. But every person carries their own limitations, priorities, and battles. Expecting them to consistently meet our emotional or practical needs is unrealistic. The more we expect, the more vulnerable we become to pain. Disappointment is not a punishment. It is a reminder that our happiness is tied too closely to external behavior. Expectations also affect our peace of mind. When we constantly anticipate outcomes, our thoughts become restless. We start overthinking conversations, waiting for messages, or seeking validation through responses and reactions. This constant waiting drains emotional energy. Instead of living in the present, we live imagined futures that may never arrive. Letting go of expectations brings a sense of freedom because we stop placing conditions on our peace. Many people confuse expectations with love or trust, but true care does not demand outcomes. It allows people to be themselves. When expectations dominate relationships, pressure replaces understanding. Reducing expectations does not mean lowering standards or accepting disrespect. It means understanding that others cannot be the source of our emotional stability. When we shift expectations inward, we grow stronger. Self-reliance helps break the cycle of disappointment. When you expect more from yourself and less from others, control returns to your hands. You focus on your actions, your effort, and your growth. This shift creates emotional maturity. You stop reacting to every unmet expectation and start responding with awareness. Life becomes simpler when you stop seeking fulfillment from outside and begin creating it from within. Peace begins when expectations turn into acceptance, and strength develops when you no longer wait for others to behave a certain way to feel okay. Taking responsibilities, one of the most powerful shifts a person can make. The moment we accept that our life is shaped largely by our choices, our mindset begins to change. Many people remain stuck, not because they lack talent or opportunity, but because they avoid responsibility. Blaming circumstances, people, or fate may offer temporary relief, but it also keeps us powerless. Responsibility, on the other hand, gives us control. It places the steering wheel of life back in our hands. When responsibility is accepted, excuses slowly disappear. Instead of asking why things are happening to us, we start asking what we can do about them. This simple change in questioning transforms the way the mind works. A responsible mindset focuses on solutions rather than problems. It builds awareness and sharpens discipline. You stop waiting for the right mood, the right support, or the right time. You begin to act based on commitment rather than convenience. Discipline is the natural outcome of responsibility. When you hold yourself accountable, consistency becomes a habit. You do what needs to be done even when motivation is low. Discipline is not about punishment, it is about respect for your goals and your time. Disciplined person does not rely on pressure from outside. Their inner standards guide their actions. This inner structure brings stability and progress, even during uncertain phases of life. Responsibility also strengthens character. When you own both your successes and failures, ego reduces and humility grows. You learn from mistakes instead of defending them. This mindset encourages growth because learning becomes more important than proving yourself right. Over time, responsibility builds trust first with yourself and then with others. People respect those who do not run away from their duties or blame others for their shortcomings. A responsible person understands that life will never be perfect, but effort can always be sincere. Even when outcomes are not favorable, responsibility ensures dignity in action. It teaches patience, perseverance, and resilience. When you stop expecting others to fix your problems and start working on yourself, a quiet strength develops. This strength allows you to remain focused, grounded, and disciplined, regardless of external circumstances or temporary setbacks. External support can inspire you for a moment, but it cannot sustain you for a lifetime. Words from others may lift your mood. Appreciation may boost confidence briefly, and encouragement may push you forward for a short distance. But when challenges become intense and the path becomes lonely, external motivation often fades. At that moment, only inner motivation remains. Inner motivation is the quiet force that keeps you moving even when no one is watching, praising, or guiding you. Inner motivation comes from purpose. When you clearly understand why you are doing something, you no longer need constant reminders or approval. Purpose gives meaning to effort and direction to struggle. Even difficult tasks feel lighter when they are connected to a deeper reason. External motivation works on emotion, but inner motivation works on conviction. Emotion changes quickly, but conviction stays steady. When people depend heavily on external motivation, they become inconsistent. They act when inspired and stop when inspiration disappears. Inner motivation creates discipline because it is rooted in personal values. You act not because you feel like it, but because you have decided it matters. This decision builds reliability and self-respect. Over time, you begin to trust yourself because you show up for your own commitments. Inner motivation also builds resilience. Life will test you with setbacks, delays, and failures. External motivation often breaks under pressure because it relies on comfort and positive feedback. Inner motivation, however, grows stronger through struggle. Every challenge becomes a reminder of your strength and determination. Instead of asking who will motivate you, you ask how you can motivate yourself. When motivation comes from within, comparison reduces. You stop measuring your progress against others and start focusing on your own journey. This creates mental peace and clarity. You move at your own pace without feeling rushed or inadequate. Inner motivation keeps you grounded because your energy is directed inward rather than scattered outward. The strongest people are not those who receive the most encouragement, but those who can encourage themselves during silence. When you learn to fuel your actions from within, dependence fades and confidence grows naturally. Inner motivation becomes your constant companion, guiding you forward. Even in moments of doubt, loneliness, and uncertainty, walking alone is often misunderstood as weakness, loneliness, or failure, but in reality, it is one of the greatest teachers of strength. When you walk alone, there is no one to lean on, no one to guide your steps, and no one to take responsibility for your choices. This absence of support forces you to face yourself honestly. You become aware of your fears, your limitations, and your inner dialogue. In this awareness, growth begins. Resilience is not built in moments of comfort. It is built when you are required to stand firm without assurance. Walking alone exposes you to uncertainty, but it also sharpens your courage. Every step taken independently strengthens your ability to endure challenges. You learn how to adapt, how to recover from setbacks, and how to continue moving forward even when the path is unclear. This process creates emotional toughness and mental flexibility. Self-respect develops when you realize you can survive on your own efforts. When you no longer seek constant approval or reassurance, your actions become more aligned with your values. Walking alone teaches you to honor your commitments, trust your instincts, and remain true to yourself even when others disagree. This inner alignment builds dignity. You stop compromising your principles just to feel accepted. Loneliness, when approached with awareness, becomes a source of wisdom. It gives you space to reflect, to understand what truly matters, and to identify your purpose without external influence. In silence, clarity emerges. You begin to recognize your strengths, work on your weaknesses. This self-awareness deepens resilience because you are no longer running from discomfort, you are learning from it. Walking alone also prepares you for leadership. Those who can stand independently develop confidence that is not shaken by opinions or pressure. They learn patience and persistence through solitude. Over time, this journey transforms fear into faith and hesitation into resolve. The ability to walk alone does not mean you will always be alone, but it ensures that when you are, you remain strong, grounded, and respectful of your own journey. Give a suitable ending of this speech. So remember, this life will not always give you people to lean on, applause to push you forward, or reassurance to calm your fears.